little bit, you know, this song. No copyright, because it's too old.
Really?
Giuseppe Verdi, yes. If I think, I don't remember exactly how many years it needs to pass, but
What's the rule?
at some point, all the copyright just gets wiped away and you can use it royalty free.
Okay.
And apparently this is where those great chants from Crvena Zvezda and Partizan come from, because I was educated yesterday after I reacted to some of these pre-game atmospheres. Guys in the comments told me that it's actually from a classical composer, this Grand March by Giuseppe Verdi. Because I was curious.
Some history lessons to start from Gytis. Wow.
I didn't expect that whatsoever.
Nice.
How are you guys doing? Rytis Vysniauskas, Augustas Suliauskas, and myself. URBONUS podcast.
Without URBONUS.
Without URBONUS, one more time.
Was this on your Spotify Wrapped?
So far it has one play, so maybe on next year's one.
Okay.
What was your number one, Rytis?
Number one
Spotify Wrapped.
Dua Lipa with the baby.
song or artist?
Artist.
Kendrick.
Beyonce.
Oh.
I live in 2000s. My top 5 was
Jay-Z.
Beyonce, Outkast.
Disease.
Cancel.
Well, he was not until the rap thing came up, so he was in my top. Wait, it was Beyonce, Kanye West, Outkast, Jay-Z, and Linkin Park.
Yeah, he is definitely living in the 2000s.
I always live in 2000s. It's just
The clothes are there from the 2000s as well.
yeah. I'm stuck in this circle of life.
Do you have something against his
No.
hoodie?
I like it because
Okay,
obviously the
okay.
cycle of fashion has now gone back to the 2000 style, loose, baggy clothes. But anyways, today we're not here to discuss that. We're here to discuss an update on our monthly power rankings. We have a December edition, holidays edition, and what we did, like we did last time, we just input our individual power rankings, how we rank these teams, and then the power ranking machine did its magic and it just did some math actually and got the averages and put for us a power ranking that's unanimous, let's say. Not unanimous actually, just a consensus power ranking, let's call it like that. So yeah, this month is our trio. Last month it was actually me, you, and Donatas, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, but it's nice that we have this system now that no matter who's going to be on the podcast, we're still going to have something to compare this month's power ranking to the last month's and see who went up, who went down.
Do you have that ready? Like
I got comparisons with
the last podcast.
yeah.
Oh,
What
nice,
we
nice,
ranked
nice.
in November basically.
See, this is preparation, guys. This is
Somewhat.
high level stuff.
Somewhat. But yeah, I guess I'm just trying to praise myself for just suggesting this system. So let's just move on to the actual power ranking. And guys, do you think the number one position is unanimous?
Yes.
Should be.
It is.
It is,
We
right?
all put the same team at number one. It's no surprise. But I wanted to ask you, was there any consideration for other teams to be number one or for Paris to be lower than the first place?
Not really. No. It's hard not to appreciate what they're doing, and when a team is on a 10-game winning streak, or is it 9?
10.
Like, how can you even consider anybody else? 10-game winning streak in this competitive environment is insane. And they beat so many different teams, different styles. Like, you have to admit they're the best team in the first part of the season.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean, I know they are only like leading by 1 win. They have 11.
But they haven't played the game yet.
Oh,
today.
So they're playing ASVEL, so they could have a 2-win advantage right now. Because the second seed Fener lost.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 teams tied at 10 wins and 5 losses.
Yeah, so we're really close to that. Paris basketball will be the number 1 seed after the first
half of the
round.
Yeah.
Is it not round?
first half of the season.
First half of the season will be played.
14 games, 17 games, sorry. Yeah.
And that is impressive. I don't know how long can they sustain it, but at the moment, if you're doing power rankings of any sort, any form, you must admit they're the number one team.
And logically, they are the highest riser. Last time we had them at 8, so they went up. We had them at 9, so they went up 8 spots. Paris did. They had at that point, I believe, 3 or 5 wins and 3 losses, and they were sharing 5th spot in the standings. But since then, 6 more wins. Now the win streak, as you said, is 10, and in that 10-game winning streak, 6 of those wins came in away games, surprisingly. And we spent an hour basically speaking about them in this Monday's Q&A. So, Augustas, you're also making a video on them, actually, which is coming out today.
It's going to be, just a quick spoiler, I think one of the best, let's say, from my point of view, one of the best analysis videos on this channel. Not just because of how good they play and how interesting it is, and I just really enjoyed making this video and showing all the comparisons between Paris last year, Paris this year, and Memphis Grizzlies this year also.
Where Thomas Islo is right now as an assistant coach.
Just looking at that Thomas Islo system, so make sure to tune that in.
So as you are the expert of Paris basketball at the moment, what would be the summary of what makes them the best team in the EuroLeague so far?
Well, they play at intensity that I've never really seen before. It's not the speed itself, it's how they play in transition, but also in half court, the way they sprint in every possible scenario. If there's a power forward that has to sprint from one side to the other to set a screen, he will do it at 100%. It's not like some other guys will just run at 70% because, well, I just have to set a screen. No, in Paris, everything is 100%. Teams are not ready for it, and they just have a great system of how to beat each and every defense. You have Gortat screens, you have slip screens against switching defense, you have targeting the weak defender. They never, TJ Shorts almost never plays against the best defender on another team, just because Paris before sets a pick that forces that best defender to switch out. So they're doing it really smart, and they're playing really hard. And that's so far have given them the number one spot. And to me, the most impressive 2 wins were in this last month or so, where that they finished both double weeks playing away the second game, and they won against Barcelona and against Olympiacos on the second game of the double week. And it's really the most impressive probably wins to me of their entire season.
Actually, I think that now we're seeing the benefits of adding a couple of experienced EuroLeague vets to this crew, because the value that Modulo and Kevaris Hayes brings to this team is also huge.
Just Kevaris Hayes, I wouldn't call him a vet. He had played 2 seasons of
okay, cool. And before a little bit with ASVEL, but he played with ASVEL in EuroLeague a little bit. Okay, so he's not a EuroLeague vet, but at least he has EuroLeague experience.
2 seasons in Zalgiris is solid.
He was in the playoffs. I mean,
better than 0.
It's better than nothing.
Let's say he's probably playing his best basketball in Paris system.
So both these guys they add a lot. I think Modulo had some amazing performances recently. And the other thing is that if we remember what they did, what David Kahn and the whole organization did before they became this EuroCup powerhouse, they basically signed everybody from Bonn. So now I'm thinking if some team will think about signing TJ Shorts as their next star guard or signing Tyson Ward as their main forward, probably you have to sign all of them together for this to work, because you don't know if they will be as good in some different environment. But when they play together, and they've been doing this for a couple of years now, it's amazing to see. The chemistry is awesome.
Off the charts.
Every TV interview after the game, TJ Shorts is so passionate speaking about his teammates. So I admire them. I do admire them a lot. And
God.
that's his religious views. I have to respect that. So I was skeptical about them, let's say, first of all, being competitive in the EuroLeague as a new team. After they started winning, I was skeptical about them making the playoffs, thinking about, well, play-in for sure. I don't know about the playoffs. Well, now, I got to say, they will be battling for a home court advantage probably, because it's insane what they're doing. And so far, they had almost no injuries, which is also very important, because you look at some teams, when you're preparing for games, you watch the roster, you go to RotoWire or BasketNews to look for injury updates, and you see 3-4 names. Like yesterday, Fenerbahce, they're playing, and you see 4 guards sitting in the stands. So they are very well prepared from the physical point of view, obviously, but there's some luck involved probably that no one's getting injured so far, because it's a tough season. You're also playing in a French league,
which is not easy.
Like just recently, they had an overtime game versus Monaco.
Yeah.
So
they won that one too.
Yeah, and they won it. They were down 12 entering the fourth quarter, and they still won it.
You gave me some props for preparing for this podcast, but do you actually remember where did you rank Paris before the season?
Before the season?
I was trying.
I think 16.
Oh, before the season it was 15 or 16, something like
16, 17.
Wow. So eight spots up from the last ranking, and then if you look from the beginning of the season, completely obliterated our expectations here.
Because I was so wrong in my approach, because my genuine belief was that if you're a new team entering the EuroLeague after you won the Euro Cup, you must improve the roster a lot. Like when Monaco won the Euro Cup, they changed a lot. They signed star players. They signed veterans like Mike James or Will Thomas. And Paris basketball didn't change that much. But they didn't even change at all, actually. Well, new coach, but more or less continuity of the same system. And added those guys that I mentioned, Hayes and Law. And I thought, well, that's definitely not enough for them to win games in EuroLeague. But I was dead wrong. That's
the difference between Monaco and Paris when you compare those two systems. For example, Monaco, when they came in, obviously they added Mike James, who became the star that everything was built around. The system changed in a sense, and also it wasn't about a system necessarily.
They changed the coach during the season.
It was about, and first of all, they changed the coach very early into.
They added Dwayne Bacon during the season.
Yeah. And this team, they just, like you said, from Bonn, same core is just traveling to the EuroLeague, from Champions League to the EuroLeague, basically.
It's crazy to think that TJ Shorts in such a short span of time dominated the Champions League, the Euro Cup, and now he's dominating the EuroLeague.
And it's funny that he won actually all the MVPs of the finals in all of these competitions. So if Paris somehow manages to actually go far and win, and he gets the MVP here, I don't know.
I mean, at the moment, it seems realistic that he could be the MVP of the regular season. If they grab one of the top 4 seeds, and if he maintains those numbers, those averages, and those performances that he's delivering every single week, I mean, I don't see any reason why he couldn't be the MVP.
Exactly.
Again, the playoffs will affect the MVP voting, but finally, last season we have, for the first time, an MVP that didn't win the quarterfinal series. So maybe now people are looking at this in a different way. And for his regular season performances so far, he's an obvious MVP of the first part of the season, leading the MVP ladder if EuroLeague has one, at least in our.
We have one.
We have one. Yeah.
We did it, I think, just recently.
Let's move on.
Yeah, we can move on. Just one question for you, Rytis. You used to be the biggest fan of Monaco. You still are, probably. Is Paris taken over in your head, your favorite team's position?
Paris has taken
or the most exciting?
Paris has taken over.
It's the heart, not the head, man. Look, I still support Rocket Team. It's still my favorite team in the league.
But there's a but in the sentence.
And actually, right now, there's a lot of excitement about the Monaco after their recent games and the way they started with Coach Spanoulis. But of course, Paris basketball is my, let's say, second team that I cheer for. I mean, look, even if you don't care about them or you don't follow them as much, if you watch them just occasionally, if you only watch them when they play against your favorite team, well, you have to respect them at least. I'm not saying you have to jump on the bandwagon, but you have to admit that there's some fresh air in the EuroLeague. It's something new, something we didn't see for a long time. A new coach entered this pretty close circle of EuroLeague head coaches. So it's awesome. I mean, it's great for the league.
Best storyline at the moment this season, and you know, who knows how far that might go.
Right, let's move on to the second spot in our power ranking, which is Olympiacos Piraeus. It has 2.33 average, meaning that one of us put them at 3. But they stayed at that second spot. They got 4 wins and 2 losses. 2 losses since that November ranking that we did. They lost against Paris. That's what I wanted to say.
Crazy game.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to say that it makes logical sense that they are behind, obviously, Paris. What do you think about Olympiacos?
I mean, I like the way this roster is clicking. I feel better about Evan Fournier now than I did when they actually signed him or he played his first couple of games. The depth, we talked about this a lot. The only issue is the lack of consistency, and in some games, not serious enough approach towards the opponent, or they only play for one quarter as aggressive as they can. And sometimes it's just enough for them to win games, like a couple of good examples. November 12th, 94-92, close win against ASVEL. Well, it shouldn't happen at home. And with a healthy Olympiacos roster, it should be an easier win, but it's just probably because they were not up to it. They didn't perform at 100%. And yeah,
just for the record, they're almost never fully healthy, but it's still, I agree with you that it shouldn't change the way, like they should beat ASVEL at home.
Well, they have 16 players, so if 3 are injured, they still have 13 EuroLeague players.
Exactly.
And the next game of that same double game week was against Maccabi in an empty gym in Belgrade, and again 94-91. Out of the four quarters they played, they were amazing in the third, they were really bad in the second, and they will really average well, decent in the first, I would say. Yeah. Really average in the fourth, but it's just enough for them to play one great quarter of basketball to win games. And against Paris basketball, it was like 4 minutes of total domination, and it almost won them the game. Those 4 minutes, that 22-0 run, and it just shows what potential they have in them. But right now, they're not as high in the standings as you would expect them to be, let's say. Or
if they win, they get
they will match Monaco, Bayern Munich, and Fenerbahce. I mean, they just dropped some games, which was kind of disappointing. But this roster is clicking. I see the chemistry. I see that the new players didn't need much time to adjust to this Barcelona ball, and yeah, I think they deserve to be number 2 right now in the power rankings.
I agree. They have the number 1 offensive rating this season. We were used to seeing kind of the opposite. The defense was always on top, but now they're 7th. But in general, I think that this team has so much potential, and I just couldn't put them anywhere lower than second spot, because I think they have this year. They really have all it takes to win a title. And we know the curse of the regular season. Maybe
you don't want to be the number 1.
You don't want to be the number 1. Paris, you can have that, you know. So, but the way they look, they have to sort some things out, and those different lineups, let's say in some games, I think cost them. That game against Maccabi, just the second lineup couldn't do anything against Maccabi. But I think when they sort things out, they're going to be a really, really tough opponent for anyone. And when they're going to have all three centers healthy, they signed another.
They're not
guy,
going to
really.
have all three. Like Moses Wright, is he out for the season? Right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but they
signed a new player.
New player, similar profile. Let's say an athletic big who can just roll to the basket. He's basically doing the things that Mustafa Fall and Nikola Milutinov are not doing. Just so to give another option at the center spot, and it's really interesting to see how a G League player is going to do in the EuroLeague. But usually these type of players take less time to adjust to doing the simple things right.
Yep. All right. Should we move on then to the third spot, which is Monaco? So I believe one of you guys put Monaco at 2 and then Olympiacos at 3. Who was it?
Probably me.
You don't remember what
I don't remember. I did it last night, and since it was like a sheet, and I knew that the data will go straight to you, I didn't do a print screen or anything.
Okay.
But it's Rytis. I had Olympiacos at 2 and Monaco at 3.
It was me.
Yeah.
Well, obviously the last few games affects my ranking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the way they started playing with Coach Spanoulis.
Spanoulis effect.
It's just different. And I think Mike James explained it really well yesterday on the TV interview when he was asked to compare how he's feeling in this system as opposed to the previous system. And he says, so in the previous system, I used to get the ball in my hands with the shot clock running down, and I would just have to live with it, make a decision. Sometimes it's a tough shot. Now I get the ball in my hands a little bit earlier, so he gets to be more of a playmaker, and you see the increase in assists. He had 10 against Panathinaikos, 12 against Olympiacos. And look, since Spanoulis arrived, they have wins in Oaxaca against the EuroLeague champions, and they beat Fener by 30. I know Fener has their own issues, but it's still
30.
A tough team to play. I mean, it's a well-coached team, and you beat them by 30 away from home. And they started playing really efficient basketball right now. The way they're sharing the ball and the way Spanoulis doesn't demand the star players, let's say, to force things. Things come naturally to them. Like, they started kind of slow yesterday, but in the end, James has his averages, Akobo has his averages, Lloyd has his averages, and they played without Alpha Diallo, and a certain guy by the name of Terry Tarpey stepped up. And I said, it's his second season in Monaco, but in my opinion, it was his first real EuroLeague experience, because before he didn't play any real minutes. So, yeah, I think they deserve a mention right now. Maybe me putting them as a number 2 in the power rankings is a bit too generous, but the games that I've seen so far with Spanoulis at the wheel, I really liked what I saw.
Just some stats. I know it's early. It's been 4 games with Spanoulis in, but just some differences, statistical differences that I can see in bbolytics.com. Great database. Check that out. But they were 6th in defensive rating and offensive rating. Now they're 2nd and 4th. But that's not even the numbers that I'm looking for the most, because it's, as I said, only 4 games. The biggest difference is in the average assist and assist percentage. Like, they were 15th by assist percentage before. Now they are 2nd, and they were the team with the least turnovers. And, the assist number goes up. Usually the turnover rate also goes up. That's not the case. They are still the least, the team that's making the least turnovers in the league. And it's just a different way of playing the game, basically in offense, because defensively it's more of the same thing, basically. But this statistical difference is just huge. And that's a great, I think, also, fact to what you said and what Mike said in the post-game yesterday.
And also, Spanoulis doesn't play with 2 bigs, because in the beginning of the season, Sasha Obradovic tried to play with Gytis and Motiejunas, And I'm not gonna say he was wrong or anything like that, because they won some games
Also,
in
Papagiannis
that
and
fashion.
Motiejunas at the same time.
They used to play with they in the beginning of the season they played with two bigs. Now
Demo at the
I
four
think the
position.
coaching change benefits Vito Brown, because we're starting to see him and his value. He's basically it's him or Blossom Game playing as a 4, and it's good balance for the team. Like yesterday, Blossom Game was in a foul trouble, so Vito Brown took over more minutes. He played good on defense, on offense as well. And I love what Spanoulis actually said yesterday, because he was asked about his team's performance, and the stats were presented to him, like 20 assists and only 7 turnovers. He should be really happy. And he's like, I'm not a big fan of stats. When you look at EuroLeague quality players, I don't think that statistics matter. And then he just said that recently we were focusing a lot on defense, and we want to improve our defense, and we changed our defensives, changed our tactics. And he just said, like, we don't have any time to train, because we're always playing either EuroLeague or French League games. So we do that by like individual video analysis with the players, and so far it's really working. So far it's good to see.
I feel like also the defensive effort is being demanded much more from Spanoulis, and the ears are receiving the information a bit more.
You could hear that during a timeout when he was wanting more aggressiveness. And
although the highlight timeout was actually yesterday from Jasikevičius. Yeah. It's fucking, what is it, like Mike James, do the stupid foul, something like that. Bucket.
Points. Run! Yeah, that was a great timeout. And you know, this Monaco team can be good defensively. It's not like we haven't seen them defend well. Maybe they were not consistent enough this season so far. And I agree that it's a lot about the effort. Sometimes they play with 2, let's say, undersized guards, but if they put enough effort, it's not an issue. When you play Strazel, when you play James together, when you play 3 guard lineups, which obviously they do when they have so much quality with the Kobo, Lloyd, and James.
Yep. All right, let's move on to number 4, where we have Panathinaikos Athens, a team that dropped by 3 positions comparing to last month. We had them at number 1. Now they're at number 4. In the actual standings, they're at number 7. At the moment, they got 3 wins, 3 losses in those last 6 games since the ranking. And yeah, they could have been even 2 and 4 if not for that Barcelona game where they closely got that win. Definitely not very convincing month, let's say. Obviously reflecting in our ranking. And I don't know, guys. That loss against Partizan, 18 points. That their latest game was probably the biggest
first half first half in Kaunas.
Yeah, that
Also.
as well.
it is the same habits. It's the same bad habits that we have seen from the beginning of the season. And I have them even at number 5 at the moment in my power ranking. But at the same time, I understand that if this team has a super easy problem to fix, I think. It's effort. Defensive effort and communication, basically. Because the way they defend as a team and as individuals, the way they communicate on that court is just so easy to play against them. And the stats tell me that in the last 5 games, according to the net rating, which is like the defensive rating and offensive rating, the difference, they are the first worst team in the EuroLeague in the last 5 games. And it's mainly because of the defensive rating, which is only 15th out of 18 teams. And Partizan just outran them. Zalgiris made smart plays, attacked where, other teams know that Panathinaikos are going to mess up. They build huge leads, and then it's just not enough time and not enough talent. Like, you have to play a perfect second half to come back and hope the other team misses some shots. And that just didn't happen. They lost both games. And to me, they're number 5 at the moment, but at the same time, I understand that this team has the upside and potential of first or second spot. And if they make the playoffs, I'm not going to say, hey, they're only the 5th best team. They're probably one of the top contenders, but they have to sort things out.
You even dare to say if they make the playoffs?
No,
I think
they will make the
they're a
playoffs.
lock,
It's
I
just,
think.
just
Yeah, okay.
I'm not saying that.
just a slip of the tongue.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will make the playoffs.
They
They will
will
make
make
the
the-
Final Four.
We had them
Unless
clear
they get a really bad matchup. Like
With that, last year it was close with way more talent, and Maccabi played a hell of a series, had great tactical adjustments, and that is not, what PAO is all about. So
at the moment, it's too early to predict. Like who knows? Maybe you're the 5th seed, Olympiacos is the 4th seed, and now you're facing your arch rival without a home court advantage. So I don't know.
with the same amount
so-
of talent, essentially.
this is why I don't understand why they allow themselves to chill so much in some of these games. Like they shouldn't be dropping these games. You could drop one, but that has happened just too many times. And Ergin Ataman said that, like, it's enough. We have to be more aggressive. We have to fight. We have to do boxing practices. We have to, on a day off, they have to watch video for 2 hours. And, he wants to send a message to his team. But at the same time, when they got fined, he's also sending a message that book your tickets to Abu Dhabi because we are going to be in the Final Four. The classic Ataman moment. It's just, he makes EuroLeague so much more entertaining.
And it's sort of there's a track record for Ataman to not perform well in the regular season. When he won his 2 championships with Efes back to back, Efes finished 3rd in that first season, and then they finished 6th in that other one.
Cruise control.
Yeah. And even if you remember last year, about this point, this was when Kendrick Nunn, I think, joined in November or something. But until then, also Panathinaikos
Late.
wasn't performing very well. They were also somewhere in the standings in terms of like middle, I would say.
But it was a new team.
Yeah.
They had all like 11 players.
Yeah.
They
On
changed
new
everything.
contracts. They changed everything from the ground. So
They also
needed
have
time.
They also have some injuries, I guess.
Look, I have to say one thing. It frustrates me to see sometimes great players not playing even at their 60 or 70%. When I watch a player and I know his quality, and I just see that he's just too sloppy today. He maybe does not want to play. He doesn't feel like defending. It's frustrating.
Who are
And
the bigger offenders in this sense?
I think it has to be like a collective responsibility. I don't want to point fingers and throw names, but if you watch Panathinaikos, some guys that fall asleep on defense and they lose concentration and they skip few quarters and they just decide to play in the 4th. I mean, there are examples where they actually won games in that manner. For example, Maccabi game in Monaco, but in other cases against Zalgiris in Kaunas or Partizan in Belgrade, it just wasn't enough. So, I know they will be fine, but right now I also dropped them in the power rankings a little bit.
Yeah, but we still, I guess, because of the talent level, got them at least at 4. Number 5 is Fenerbahce Istanbul. I think we all put them on different positions because on average it's 5, but I think someone had it 4th. I definitely, think, had it at 5. Someone had it at 6. -2 comparing to the ranking in November. We had them at 3.
How much did yesterday's result affect your...
This is a lot, I think.
your
A
decision.
lot. I believe a lot. What about you, August? Because I
Yeah.
definitely saw that -30, and in general, they're like, if I look at the games they played since that ranking we did, they had the 3 wins in a row, and then in the last 4 games, only 1 win. So actually, the last stretch has been the one to
I
put
have
them down so
I have
much.
a strange feeling watching Fenerbahce this season because every game I watch, I don't think they're playing good basketball, but somehow they're winning just enough games.
Somehow they're in tied for the 2nd spot.
Yeah, I mean, but even in the games they won, I didn't feel like they played good basketball. I mean, they're doing the right things. They're aggressive on the boards. Offensive rebounding is huge for them, and the energy usually is there. But you just don't have the feeling that they're playing good, quality, consistent basketball. And I'm not criticizing anybody because they have so many injuries, so many players that are coming back from the injuries, and it's hard. So I'm not going to judge them and say, like, yesterday they lost by 30, Šaras is not coaching them well enough, the players are not performing. It's not about that. They're winning games, they're surviving. I think at the moment, in the first part of the season, they're basically on like a survival mode.
I mean, we were talking about their guard rotation and their center rotation being quite weak to start the season. As the season progressed, obviously the Scottie Wilbekin injury, number one thing that happened first. And then as it progressed, we kept pointing fingers at this and saying, okay, they need to do something about it. They need to definitely add another center that's different from what they have. But they haven't so far because the market is quite dried up. And now they lost Zalgiris, their backup point guard. Another issue that's just deepening the hole.
Like yesterday, I'm watching the game, and the camera just shows those guys sitting there, the injured guys, and there's four of them: Zalgiris, Wilbekin, Devon Hall, and Daishan Pierre. We're talking about four good EuroLeague players. Okay, I know the Zalgiris is EuroLeague rookie, but he's a rotation player for them right now. He's an important player. So, look, you're missing four good players that could definitely play minutes for almost any team in Europe. So it's a huge issue. And the center rotation is a different thing. It's not like someone's injured. It's just that I don't think they signed the players they wanted, and now they're just living with the outcome. Like Cam Birch is good at rebounding, but very limited. He's good at setting screens, and maybe he can switch, but he's a very limited center. Sertac Shanli, he can pop, he can shoot the free, he can stretch the floor, but I'm not a fan of his defensive abilities. Let's say, let's be polite, and look, Boban Marjanovic. I mean,
it's a marketing
you probably signed him to play 2 or 3 certain opponents in this league.
And in terms of guards, the guy they signed to fix this problem, Skylar Mace, is averaging 2.6 points in the last 5. Actually, in the last, that's 8 games, he scored 2, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, 2 points.
Well,
and he's playing like 5-6 minutes a game.
Goodrich is playing more as a ball handler.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Biberovic. Like yesterday, for example, Goodrich and Biberovic both had their worst games of the season. And at the moment, for Fenerbahce to win, to beat good teams like Monaco, I think everybody needs to perform at their level. Because yesterday it was only Hayes Davis and maybe Baldwin for a short period of time.
I like how you just spent talking like 5 minutes about Fener, and nobody has mentioned Bonzi Carlson, because have you seen him actually on the court?
I saw the jersey.
The ghost.
Wanted.
He has scored 21 points in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous, that difference of change, Coulson in Maccabi and Coulson right now in Fener. And I know like Nigel Hayes-Davis nearby, is taking the spotlight. But at the same time, the player that we praised so much in the last couple of years, the guy that can do everything, the guy that fits to Baldwin, to Lorenzo Brown, that can do anything, that is great defensively, is just not finding his spot on that team so far. And, only 8 points per game this season in 22 minutes, 4 rebounds. It has to do that he has way less touches, because Maccabi played so much faster than Fener, and they just had so much more attempts from the field. But they need to include him somehow, and Šaras has a lot of work to do, really, to actually make that team play to their potential. But
you guys expect this team, if they don't add anyone, to be in the Final Four still? Because we had them as one of those teams together with Olympiacos and Panathinaikos.
It depends a lot who would they face in the playoffs, but
yeah, I wouldn't be so sure. But at the same time, Šaras teams, especially new teams, tend to play better in the second half. Hopefully, they get some guys back after injury. That would be super
probably
important.
The most important thing, yeah.
But to see them as favorites, I wouldn't be so sure.
I'd say
in the quarterfinal series.
At the moment, while we're speaking in December, I would say they would drop out against both Greek teams in a series.
Yeah.
If Monaco continues in this way, I would also put Monaco ahead of them.
What about Paris?
In a series, I still would pick Fener. There's a long way to go. I mean, who knows?
Okay, let's move on. Number 6 spot, FC Bayern Munich. On average, they are 567, which means someone was putting them a bit higher. They went up by 1 spot comparing to last ranking, and I guess we're still sort of underrating Bayern because they're tied for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th positions in the standings. And naturally, you would think they would be higher, but I guess the reasoning from us is the games they won, because they won 4 wins, 3 losses, and the one games are against Alba, Barcelona, Baskonia, Maccabi. I would say 3 of those teams they were facing as a favorite, basically.
And they played 4 at home.
Yeah, plus that. And I think it's just those wins they just had to win. And we kind of expected them to win. So that's why we didn't get too hyped about their current position. But it is one of the most entertaining teams to watch from the EuroLeague at the moment. They play fast. They have the highest scoring per game as a team. Also have the highest scorer in Carson Edwards. Do you see Bayern as like a legit playoff team now, or do you still have your doubts, guys?
Offensively, I love what they're doing, just as I love seeing the Germany's national team. And they're really fun. But as I said from the beginning, the defense in EuroLeague often wins. And defense is the part that a little bit scares me. And to me, the true colors of Bayern will be shown in this next 5 games, because they have 4 away games against Monaco in the next round. They have then they go to Milano. Then they play Panathinaikos at home, which is going to be super tough and should be an exciting game to watch. And then they go to Real Madrid and Olympiacos. So that's a super tough 5-game stretch and after these games, I will make up my mind on Bayern, and we will probably see their true colors, because lately, playing away, they had tough games, allowing Anadolu and Crvena Zvezda each 101 points. That's you can't win away with that defense. So,
are they allowing the most points? No, 2nd most points actually in the whole league.
Yeah, they
or 3rd. But anyways, a lot of points.
Their defensive rating was never great, and they have the 3rd worst defensive rating in the league, looking from round 1.
That is what I wanted to say, actually. If we compare them to Paris basketball, the biggest difference is that Paris basketball is also good on defense. And Bayern Munich is a run-and-gun team with great guards, with, at the moment, flaming Andy Obst, who just recently broke the EuroLeague record. Yesterday, again, he had a good game against Maccabi. And when they're at home and they face teams like Maccabi or Baskonia, it's comfortable for them to play their own game, because they are facing a team that also wants to play this high-paced basketball, and at home, with the talent that they have, they're in a good position to beat them. But again, EuroLeague requires a lot of details, a lot of defense, effort for the team to be successful. And your question was about them making the playoffs. At the moment, I would predict a play-in spot for them probably more. But I love what they're doing. I didn't expect them to be as high as they are right now, ranking teams once again before the season. So
this is the highest they're going to be.
That's your prediction?
In my mind.
Probably, I have to agree, since you mentioned the games they will play in the next month. So they're going to play all those games from December 17th to January 10th. So in less than a month, they will face all those teams, and most of them away from home.
One of the guys that could improve their defense, obviously, is Vladimir Lucic, but he's been so injured over the past seasons that, and I don't know at 35 years old how much he would add, but he's been out since October 10th. There's no timeline for his return. But I just thought maybe one of these guys that is missing when you look at the overall roster picture, that would probably at least improve a little bit their defensive side with his length on at the 3 position. And also, guys, make sure to check out next week. Just keep an eye on our channel because Donatas is actually not here because he's in Munich.
He spent a couple of days there.
He's done 3 interviews or 3 film sessions, I think.
3 interviews, the new arena tour that they haven't actually lost yet.
Yeah.
So that's another crazy part. And there's going to be so much content.
A lot of content, yeah.
Coming
it
on
won't come out
channel.
all at once, but one by one, each week we'll be releasing those videos.
I think Lithuanians are the only people that travel to Munich for basketball purposes.
For sure.
Hey, but he got great interviews. Gordon Herbert,
Nice.
Carson Edwards.
Carson Edwards said, "This is the best interview I've ever had." And
Spoiler alert.
Wow.
By the way.
Nice.
which is a sick compliment.
And Andy Obst.
Obst, yeah.
And Andy Obst. So 3
The right
interesting
guys.
people. The right
From that
guys to
team.
interview in Bayern.
By the way, guys, have you got your Christmas presents yet?
Not yet. Not all of them.
Okay, and you, Rytis?
Some, not all, but
Yeah, okay.
still working on it.
Sounds like deja vu. I haven't even thought about it yet, actually.
Really?
No, but
It's 10 days left, man.
Donata sent me a solution, but my girlfriend won't be happy. But I can send her a digital option, which is a BM Plus membership. You can send, but actually, this is not for my girlfriend. This should be for any of you guys who are basketball fans, and you have some friends who are also basketball fans. As you know, we put out a lot of content on BM Plus, especially those Give Me Control episodes are my favorite thing on BM Plus at the moment. So you can do that instead of having to think about some physical presents that you need to wrap. There's a digital solution, BM Plus membership. Check it out at shop.basketnews.com. Number 7, Žalgiris Kaunas. I think if we did this ranking before the last 2 games Žalgiris played, they would be like at least 10th because they started that stretch from
8-9.
From where we left them. They're -1. They were 6th. Now they're 7th in our ranking, but they are 3 and 4 since that ranking. 3 wins, 4 losses. The 2 last wins coming in the last 2 games, obviously. Yesterday, a big win against Real Madrid. And without those wins against Efes and Madrid, I think, like I said, you say 8th or 9th, but they didn't look good with the form they had. And I wanted to ask you guys, how confident are you about this Žalgiris being a playoff team? Because now they've recovered, but the consistency, is it about Lonnie Walker joining and the focus being on him in this team? Now they're kind of adjusted, and he's obviously balling out of his mind. But what do you guys think?
I'm confident about them in the playoffs, but there's one big asterisk mark.
What is it?
Lonnie Walker belongs to the
Please.
NBA. He begged yesterday. That's our interpretation. But after one of these shots, he begged someone in the stands.
And there were so many scouts in that game.
And there were so many scouts in that game from the NBA.
Basically, you say no chance to keep Lonnie Walker in Žalgiris.
Look, I said like yesterday to another of my colleague Rytis, like there's like 5 teams in the NBA right now that would benefit a lot by signing him. But okay, there are new rules, blah blah blah, this and that. But there's like so many contending teams that need pieces. And some of these players on I don't know, some teams that I'm watching, like Lonnie Walker is better than those guys. Lonnie Walker is better than those guys. And it's going to be up to him, because if a team like Wizards offers him something, like, would you go? I'm not sure. But if a contending team offers you a roster spot in the NBA...
Like you said, Denver is probably
the Denver Nuggets are title contenders, and Nikola Jokic needs help. They lack depth, and a guy like Lonnie Walker would add a lot of quality to that team. So He already has good playoff experience in the NBA. Let's not forget that. It's not like he has to prove anything to anyone. He's ready to play. He's healthy, and now he's performing in Europe. I think that in basketball you have these legendary players like Hoodie Mello or Headbandless LeBron. I think now there's an urban legend of EuroLeague first half Lonnie Walker. EuroLeague first half Lonnie Walker is one of the best players in the planet.
You mean Nikola Jokic type of player? Okay, I'm kidding. I'm going too far.
Let's not go there, but the second half Lonnie Walker is just not as good as the first half Lonnie Walker is. But whatever.
Yesterday, 21 points
Look,
in the first half, 0 in the
his
second.
Performances in these last 2 games against Efes and Real Madrid, he builds the lead for Zalgiris. He builds that double-digit lead, and they go to the second half just to secure that lead. And maybe in the second half he doesn't get that many buckets, or they're not in the same rhythm anymore. But his crazy scoring runs just build them the lead, and he can shoot any type of shot. Mid-range fadeaway, a pull-up free, off the screen, three-pointer. He can attack the rim. We saw some spectacular dunks from him, especially in that Panathinaikos game. I don't know if he'll be here till the end of the season. I think Real Madrid, if they were considering signing him yesterday, maybe Felipe Reyes sitting there, or the president of Real Madrid, Florentino Perez, watching the game, felt like maybe we should have gambled with the NBA buyout because we desperately need someone to help us right now, and now this guy is killing us.
But at the same time, it could happen that in 2 weeks he's gone.
Yeah,
because the trades open up. You can manage your assets. You can make space for Lonnie Walker and his salary.
And let's be real, Zalgiris will not sign a replacement of that caliber. It's impossible. There's no player.
Impossible.
There's no player in the market.
Like look, like Real Madrid still does not have an additional player.
Yeah.
Maccabi signed David DeJulius.
They signed a lot of players, and some of them they will not be in your memory after a year or two.
Exactly, and Zalgiris somehow got Lonnie Walker. That's it's still ridiculous to me. I still don't understand. And just going back to your fact that Lonnie Walker in the first half, the second half, the stats are like this. First half, Lonnie Walker is averaging 12.1 points. I haven't checked which position would that be in the top scorers, but it would probably be like top 40, top 30, top 50.
Wait, top in the EuroLeague?
Yeah, like top 30.
Oh, definitely higher.
Scoring 12 points and a half?
No. If you compare Lonnie Walker first half and overall points per average of players.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because first half, probably he's top 5.
Oh, he's probably number one. 12.1 points in one half has to be number one.
Because Carson's averaging 20, so yeah.
So, and then in the second half, he scores just 4.8 points. Mm-hmm. And with Sylvain Francisco, it's the opposite. 4 points average in the first half, 8.1 in the second half. So I think that's also a little bit testament to how these two players are adapted to the EuroLeague, because Francisco deals way better with the spacing, the strict spacing in the second halves. When all the attention is on you, I think Francisco is dealing better because he has seen these type of defenses for way longer. Because in the NBA, the defense you see in the EuroLeague in the first half from teams like Efes and Real Madrid is more or less the same defense that you see in the NBA. And that's like one-on-one mostly. And in one-on-one in the EuroLeague, Lonnie Walker is just unstoppable.
Regardless if he stays or not, I'm not locking them in the playoffs, honestly. I'm locking them in the play-in, and in the play-in, anything can happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think we should move on. We are already almost an hour in, and we've gotten through 7 teams.
Well, but we've talked about the best teams.
Yeah, but the last 5 teams will be...
It's going to be a 5-minute discussion. Okay, number 8. The second highest climber, riser in this ranking. Olympia Milano. We had them at 14 just a month ago. Now we have them at 8.
It seemed like they hit the rock bottom when they lost to Alba Berlin.
Right.
And- And ever since then, they're on a winning streak.
And they have the best offensive rating in the EuroLeague in the last 5 games, scoring 120, almost 129 per 100 possessions.
Is
That's-
this the Nico Mannion effect?
It's probably it, right? Because
It's not only that, like
I know, I'm joking.
a lot of players like Siobhan Shields returned.
that's true.
Fabian Causer is playing phenomenal basketball recently. Nikola Mirotic, Zach Lide, you know what those guys are capable of doing. And it's not a surprise. Like, this team is the amount of money they spent and the players they have, they should be there. They probably should be even higher. They could be there, but it's great that they finally found their rhythm. And it just seems that they can win against Alba Berlin. But other than that, against teams that play more usual defenses, they seem to have found a way to outscore all of them. And that's a strange thing to say, because the last time Messina's team was good in offense was back when they went to Final Four with KP, with Chacho Rodriguez and Malcolm Delaney.
Yeah.
Lide was there too, no?
And Lini was there too, yeah,
Yeah.
with Punter. So...
So all of a sudden, Messina's a great coach? Is that what you're saying? Because you were the biggest
What?
critic of
Now
Ettore.
you're putting words in my mouth.
I'm just
But,
reading the situation.
Look, I think any coach in any other club with the club that has the spending power of Milano would have been fired 3 or 4 times already.
Luca Banchi resigned.
With what happened in the last 2 seasons with Milan, but he's still there, and now he's fixing things. So we have to give him credit for that.
Let's
It will be an
see
interesting
how
game.
long
And
they stay
it will be
healthy.
an interesting game today in Barcelona, because I saw their game on the weekend in the Italian league. They faced Virtus Bologna, and they lost, and they didn't really look good. I know that the Italian league regular season maybe doesn't matter as much. So let's see what happens today.
And do you guys now see this team in the play-in picture at least? Because I definitely had them in the bottom 5 teams before. And
Play-in is a possibility, but again, I see teams that are not in the play-in currently, like Partizan or Real Madrid, even Efes. I don't think they're like Milan is better than them. At least I don't have any reason to think now in December.
With Real Madrid,
It's shocking how
Well,
bad they
I
are.
don't think
It's just shocking.
Yesterday,
we'll get to them eventually,
okay.
I'll
My
tell
bad.
you
Yeah,
that
yeah.
much.
My bad.
Eventually. It'll take some time to get to them.
Look, with this roster, Milano should be in the play-in at least. But in Milano in the last couple of years, the situation tends to change. All of a sudden, they get injured at the worst possible spot. They get re-injured. They don't have guys to play. But maybe it's now they finally, are healthy. They're finally, everybody's in confidence, because last year that was a huge problem. Let's see how it goes with Milano, but 7-3 record in the last 10 games is impressive.
Right, next team on the list is Barcelona at the 9th spot. And believe it or not, they are the biggest fall from grace in our ranking, because they dropped 5 spots. We had them at 4. Obviously, at that point, they were, I think, near the top of the standings. They built a very solid beginning. And since then, they haven't been great, to say the least. They have lost against Pau, they lost against Real, they lost against Bayern, Paris. Then there are some wins, but basically 2 wins, 4 losses.
What if I told you that they're going to continue falling even further?
Maybe.
What do you think?
It wouldn't shock me if they do, but look, there were 2 really bad performances defensively against Paris Basketball and Bayern Munich. But then they were kind of unlucky against Real Madrid and Panathinaikos. I think they should have at least 1 win from these 2 games. These 2 were very close games. The El Clasico went into overtime. Panathinaikos. In both cases,
Not just one overtime, by the way.
yeah, in both cases against Real Madrid and Panathinaikos, there was a bit of luck involved on their opponent's favor.
Yeah.
To their opponent's
Or
favor.
let's say mental mistakes.
Or mental mistakes from Barcelona's side. Yeah, you could see it one way or the other. And now they won a close game against Maccabi, which they were in trouble, but they still managed to win. And today they're facing Milano, who are on a winning streak. It's just that when I see Barcelona, I don't see anything spectacular about them. Like, they're an okay team. Like, you're not entertained by them too much. You're not excited by them too much. At the same time, you cannot say that they are bad or anything like that. Just mid.
It's no emotions. They are the second worst team in the last 5 games. If we're looking the net rating, their defense is not good. Their offense without Lapro, now Raul Neto is injured. Chimezie Metu is injured. They have a lot of injuries. They still haven't found a replacement for Laprovitola. I think that have been huge. And basically all of their statistics, most important statistics, are going down in the last period. And the way I saw a couple of games from them, they don't inspire me. I don't see them moving forward, and that what scares me. Looking at their game. And they have a tough schedule coming up. They have a game against Milano at home today, which I wouldn't be surprised if Milano,
The Mirotic comeback game,
steals this game from them. And then they have Fener coming to Barcelona. They have to go to Bologna. They have Crvena Zvezda coming to Barcelona. And then they have Paris and Monaco away. That's not an easy stretch. And with so many injuries, with the way they have been playing, maybe they turn around, but I could see them sliding even further. That's why I put them at only 11th spot in my power ranking.
Okay.
Well, at least they have Kevin Punter, because if I look for reasons to watch Barcelona play, Kevin Punter is the number one reason, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have Partizan Belgrade at number 10. Surprising to me, because they are the highest, third highest climber after Paris and Olympia. They went up 5 spots. We kind of, their fan base is called the Grave Diggers. We were already digging some kind of a grave for their season, looking at them at that point, because they had a 6-game losing streak. We did not believe in that roster anymore, but then all of a sudden they just start winning the games that we didn't expect. Is it 4 or 5 games in a row now? I think it's 4 games in a row they've won.
Wait.
No, I think it's 5.
5.
Yeah,
they were 2-8. Now they're 7-8.
5 wins in a row.
5 wins in a row. You put them higher than Crvena Zvezda. I had them one spot lower. But what has changed? What do you guys think is the main thing that changed? Because such a dramatic overturn in terms of results is there must be a reason. I mean,
again, it's a new team, and we mentioned Panathinaikos last season starting to click at more or less the same time. And Partizan with Kurlik Jones playing the way he's playing right now, it's an amazing level. If he keeps that up, maybe he'll get into a team in the EuroLeague. I know it's a lot of competition to get into a team, but he's been amazing. He has been doing the things we expected him to do, but we expected those things maybe a little bit early. And their defense has been so much better, way less miscommunications, way more aggressive. And I haven't checked the game against Alba yesterday.
Oh, I saw the ending. The ending of the game was...
The ending was
it was...
What happened?
It was really great. Well, first of all, in the Uber Arena, it felt like it's Stark, because
it's not Stark anymore, by the way.
Oh, how is it called? Right?
Just Belgrade Arena.
Just Belgrade Arena. So it was Belgrade Arena in terms of atmosphere,
as usual.
But Partizan had an 11-point lead. It was an open game, more or less, but still, an 11-point lead feels kind of safe when you're facing bottom team in the EuroLeague. And Alba Berlin just somehow they went on a run, and I switched on for the last minutes, and I see Tim Schneider burying a spot up 3, and Alba is all of a sudden up 4 with less than a minute to play. So Željko responded with a really nice play for Vanja Marinkovic after the timeout, and Vanja hit a big 3, and then it was like this. Eventually went to the decisive possession where Carlik Jones had the ball in his hands. The game is tied, and Carlik made a huge play, in one-on-one play, mid-range shot. After the crossover, he beat his opponent. I think it was Paniolo. They're up 2, and there's still 1.7 seconds left to play. And Israel Gonzalez has a timeout. And he used his timeout. And I'm thinking that maybe they will look for a free to try and win the game, because the last possessions that Alba had in that game led nowhere. Just some random Tyreek Jones foul gave free throws, and David McCormack hit 1 of 2 to tie the game. And they go for a lob. They lob the ball to David McCormack again, and he's fouled in the air. They're down 2. There's around a second left. He's going back to the line. There's a long review before that, and I'm thinking about how it should be hard for him waiting at the free throw line, because the ref spent 2 minutes to confirm the time and all that stuff.
Everybody's probably trash talking
him.
Yeah.
So and he misses the first free throw. And the funny thing is that he tried to miss the second free throw on purpose, hitting the front of the rim, throwing the ball like this. But it went in. It went in, and Partizan won the game.
Only Chima Monega can do that.
91-90. Yeah, you have to master the art of missing free throws on purpose. It's not as easy as it looks like. So, it was not probably the game Željko Obradović is most proud of in this winning streak. But the reason why I put them, let's say, higher than Zvezda is basically the way they played each other. Right? Because...
At the same time, Zvezda had our missing Bolon boy due to injury. And I had Partizan now at 9 and Zvezda at 10 and Barca at 11. But I think that Zvezda with Bolon boy, with the full roster, with Petrushin playing the way he's playing right now, they are also a great team. And it's going to be really interesting to see these two Serbian teams.
They might be fighting for the play-in spot.
Exactly.
And just to add any input about Partizan from me, I'm just going to repeat myself again. They still need to add someone at that 4 position, because, again, in this Alba game, I looked. It's 21 defensive rebounds, 8 allowed offensive rebounds for Alba. They are dead last in the defensive rebounding statistics. So something needs to happen there, because it's not working. They're giving up too many second chances, and that's really hurting their game. Okay, next up, Crvena Zvezda. So we kind of started leading into that conversation. They have stayed actually at the 11th spot. We had them at 11. No jump there. I had them over Partizan, and you both guys had Partizan over Zvezda, as I understand. We just kind of started talking about them in terms of their results since we spoke last time. They've won against Monaco, but before Spanoulis joined. Then they lost against ASVEL, obviously lost the derby, eternal derby, won against Munich, and then lost against Milan, and most recently won against Virtus. Today they're playing Olympiacos. Very important game for both teams, I feel like, so it'll give us a better picture.
And Filip Petrushev can't play because of the
the agreement.
The
loan agreement?
Signed, the loan agreement that he can't play against Olympiacos.
Well, they will depend a lot on Luka Mitrovic.
Yep. Great fantasy pickup for this round.
What about
Could be.
What about John Brown? When is he playing? Is he playing?
I don't know, but
is it official already?
I don't think so. I don't think he's registered yet.
Okay.
At least that's what I saw in EuroLeague pre-round report. But hey, look, I've mentioned I did not understand what they were doing I did not
I
understand
understand, yeah.
what they were doing before the season. I caught myself. Because of the gap between the backcourt and front court. Now you add Petrushev, you add John Brown, and you'll probably get back Joel Bolomboy pretty soon after the injury.
Sooner than
and
later, for
that
sure.
front court looks really solid to me. The way they can manipulate those two-man lineups, both Petrushev and Bolomboy can play together. John Brown with Bolomboy, who can stretch the floor if they need. Like Petrushev and Bolomboy can do that. You can have a lot of interesting lineups, interesting options. And so in my eyes, if they can stay healthy, they're going to be a really tough team to beat.
Okay, let's move on to the next team, which is Anadolu Efes. A big drop, -4 positions from last time. They were 8th, now they're 12th. There are very obvious reasons why they dropped so much. They dropped in the standings as well as they did in our power ranking. Lost some games that, ASVEL, for example, Zalgiris game, they looked hopeless in my eyes.
Well, in the first half.
First half.
Yeah.
First half. I don't know if they have it in them to be better defensively. I just watched them, and I think that they are a talented team, but they don't have any consistency on defense, and maybe even they lack some discipline on defensive end.
For sure.
Okay, now they're going to play a lot of games at home, but they will play against tough opponents. And since they lost Shane Larkin, it's obviously a huge problem because he's their best player.
He should be back right now.
He should be back, but Shane Larkin has a track record of being the player that needs more time to get back in shape and rhythm after injuries. So
And he only solves the offensive problem. He still doesn't really solve the
and
defensive
I don't see them
They-
winning.
they don't have
I don't see them
offensive
winning
problems even without him.
Yeah.
games by defense. It's kind of a Bayern Munich situation.
To me, Efes and Real Madrid are so similar, and that's why they're not winning more games. Just because defensively, I don't think they can be solid for 40 minutes. We saw against Zalgiris a great second half, but that's not enough. And Panathinaikos, like these three teams are somewhat.
But Panathinaikos has a huge advantage because Real Madrid is in so much trouble right now that you're not even sure if they will make the play-in or the playoffs. Will they change the coach? What can they do to solve this? Even Efes, I think, is in a better shape than Madrid because Shane Larkin is coming back. And in every position, they have quality, they have talent, and at least, again, you depend on them to score 90 points and win some games and maybe win at least 50% of their games in regular season. And Panathinaikos is on a different level. They will press the button and they'll start winning. They'll start doing what they have to do. And Real Madrid, I don't think they have it in them right now.
No.
And to add to your point, the schedule, they're facing 3 home games, but they're against Panathinaikos, then Crvena Zvezda and Partizan. Then they go away to Monaco and away to Fenerbahce.
Wow.
I would say all 5 games are potential losses in the form.
Any
which
game in EuroLeague is basically
Yeah,
a
it's a
potential
potential
loss right
loss,
now. But okay, I think they'll win at
3
least
home
some
games.
at home.
Yeah. Out of those 3 at home. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Next one is Baskonia Vitoria, Gytis.
Wow. Over Real Madrid?
Yes, they have.
Where did you rank them?
I think,
Real Madrid after yesterday?
I think I ranked them 13.
I know. Baskonia?
Ranked them 14
this
or something.
season?
Yeah, but Real Madrid this season.
Come on, guys. But you've seen Baskonia's overall results. I know they have won a couple of games now, but look, do you really think, okay, if nobody changes from today, do you really think Baskonia finishes the EuroLeague season higher than Real Madrid?
No.
But in terms of what they have achieved in that stretch, they had some wins against.
I mean, last month
against-
Baskonia looked better than Real Madrid. That's it.
That's my
I'm sorry.
logic as well.
I mean, they're 6 and 9, both teams, and I was like,
Look,
Real Madrid is still
but
better.
how close Baskonia was to being 7 and 8? They were.
But they got lucky.
Yesterday.
They got lucky
guys,
in Kaunas.
Yesterday. Did you see what
Before.
happened yesterday?
Oh my God. Oh my
Will
God.
Clyburn stealing the game. Like you said, Baskonia had like a 7-point lead at some point. Like with,
Baskonia had a 5-point lead with 44 seconds remaining, and then they lost the last 44 seconds 10-4. And the crazy part is that with 4 seconds remaining, Baskonia were up by 3. And they managed to lose in 4.5 seconds without overtime.
Yeah.
Like Chiba Moneka had those 200 IQ plays missing the free throws, but yesterday was just
how much IQ? What was the number you putting?
that was not a high IQ play. First, Baskonia did not foul.
With 3 up, you don't foul in the other side of the court.
Then you can't foul.
Yeah, then you can't foul anymore, and then you do foul.
On
but after
the shot.
a shot is made, or after the shot is already released.
Will Clyburn hits that shot off the backboard, makes the free throw, they win. And it's an incredible loss for Baskonia, but at the same time, I did not understand how they won in Kaunas.
Understand.
Oh my God!
Let's not
Again.
start.
Not
Let's not start because
Yes.
otherwise,
Sorry,
otherwise the Natas would not last
Sorry, man.
30 minutes in this podcast.
But look,
I'll be better.
if we compare
I'll be better.
Real Madrid and Baskonia at this certain moment, Baskonia beat Fener and Zalgiris by double digits. I know in Zalgiris the result doesn't reflect anything, but still, it's a win.
But you see the pattern? Like teams that Baskonia are winning against, like really good defensive teams, but not great offensive teams.
You know who they won against? Real Madrid in third round. But
The
still.
last 2 games Madrid played at home against Fener and Zalgiris, both were losses and kind of hopeless.
Hopeless, I would say, yeah.
In my opinion.
There was some hope against Zalgiris, but
Not to mention that Real Madrid also had that Efes game where they tried to come back from 20 points and almost did, but also lost. And that happened at home. So in the past, when Madrid were struggling with certain things, even in the previous EuroLeague format with top 16, you would at least know that they will win at Vizing Center. They will probably lose away because they have problems right now. Something's not clicking, not working. But at Vizing Center, they will win because they're chill at Vizing Center.
The bare minimum.
They're not chill anymore. They're getting technical fouls. They're getting frustrated all the time. And
They're far from chill.
yeah. So I'm putting Baskonia higher, not because they're a better team or that they have better players or that I believe will be higher in the standings after the season's finished, but at the moment.
yeah, I agree.
Let me just say that. Do you think Chus Mateo?
How
Do you
much
think Chus
longer is your
Mateo
question?
is going to finish the season?
No,
No
I don't
way.
think so. But if they have trust in him, if he's still the head coach of this team, well, sign him some players.
Signing him some players, exactly. But at the same time, the body language from the players that he has right now is not it.
I'll give you this.
It's not it.
They started playing much better after he got ejected.
They started playing better
A
when
little
they
bit
were losing
earlier.
by 20.
A little bit
That's
earlier.
also, you know,
Yeah.
players have some respect for themselves. If they don't believe in a system, if they don't believe in a coach, they might start losing by 20. But when you're down 20, you kind of, okay, we have to do something. We have to be better. So teams against Zalgiris start doing that. But
Yeah.
it's not enough. You
It's
go
a-
back to your bad habits, and there are a lot of bad habits on defense in Real Madrid's camp.
Doesn't look real that a team that was in the final last season currently is 13th, and the roster has changed, but still so star-studded. The fans leaving the arena early. I mean, something has to change in that camp, and I guess we covered both 13th and 14th because Real Madrid was 14th. They dropped by 4 positions since last time, managed to go even more down from the 10th spot. Next up, we have ASVEL Villeurbanne. Sort of the last 4, actually, I think will have a consensus decision, unless you guys had at 15 Maccabi. Did anyone have Maccabi at 15?
I had Maccabi at 15. But
So let's start with ASVEL because they're
I think this is the best ASVEL version we have seen in the last 3 years.
absolutely agree.
they're not going to make the play-in or the playoffs, but they're stealing some wins. They have an exciting young player, Theo Maledon. They still have the veteran, Nando De Colo. The roster makes sense. The way they play is nice. I mean, they compete. It's definitely the best ASVEL Villeurbanne we have seen in years.
Yeah, just because of Maledon, actually, it's not the worst game to watch when ASVEL is playing. Because there's something to be excited about, basically. Otherwise, they have Andre Robertson. Am I?
Yeah.
They do have him, yes.
How did I miss
If you asked me a couple of months ago, I would have guessed he retired already.
Same.
But
I thought
no,
he definitely
he's now
retired.
balling in Europe.
Balling?
No, he's okay. He's okay.
He had the same injury as
Look,
Keenan Evans.
he's a
Oh, he's doing very well defensively. 1.3 steals, 1.5 blocks.
because he was always a
Yeah.
defensive
He's
player.
always-
No, I know. But just the stats in the limited time, limited 20 minutes, still pretty,
Limited.
like solid.
It's nice. It's nice. I remember him being a glue guy,
Yeah.
defensive specialist in Oklahoma.
He's one of the more important players in that.
He's not there to score a lot of points. They have other guys for that, but he's helping the team. It's nice to see.
And he's made 2 3-pointers already, which is surprising. I'm not gonna lie.
You predicted that they're going to end Paris's winning streak.
And I was.
No, you were not wrong.
No, I mean it's happening today.
They're playing tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It's happening.
Don't worry, man. Don't worry.
Okay.
You're still on.
When you said that, I thought. they
No,
were-
no. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Just
next-
going back to
yeah.
Raul, a quick quiz question for you. Quiz question.
please.
Quiz question. In 2024 EuroLeague regular season, 32 games by Real Madrid. How many do you think they won?
27.
No.
Wait.
32. In 2024, this calendar year.
Oh, this calendar
This
year.
calendar
sorry,
year
I
from
was
the
thinking about last season.
second round of last season regular, and now
How many games? 32 games played.
32 games played. How many you think they have won?
14.
15.
17 and 15 losses.
This is without the Final Four and playoffs.
Yeah, without 3-0 against Baskonia and 1-1 in the final four.
Just a regular season, okay?
just a average chill team.
Okay, bottom 3. I don't know if we need to discuss everyone individually, but we got Maccabi at 16, Virtus at 17, Alba at 18. Virtus and Alba, we had all of us, I think, at the same consensus rating to put them at 17, 18. Maccabi, you put a bit higher. Was there a reason, or you just comparing the two teams? You just thought Maccabi has more potential.
Maccabi is a fun offensive team, and they can win some games with that. Tamir Blatt is now back after injury, but at the same time, Jaciel Rivero will be out for some time. But Venian Gabriel is playing, so they have a lot of players coming in and out with injuries, with decisions not to travel back to Israel. So maybe if they can stabilize the situation just a little bit in their inside of their own team, I think they should pick up some wins, and they were pretty close to doing so yesterday. So I just enjoy watching them. So
When they play away, when they're fans, because any game, I don't care even if there are two good teams playing, if there's
sad.
no atmosphere, if there's no fans, I cannot focus on that game. Out of this group,
they're playing in a full gym right now in the Israeli league. Maybe not a full gym, but they're allowing a lot of people to.
well, there's no reason for them not to.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see the situation with the EuroLeague.
Well, I see at least a couple of teams that will not travel there.
Obviously.
Obviously, at least a couple. So I don't know.
And you're being generous, I think.
Probably is closer to half of the league than just a couple of teams. Out of this group, the team that I expect to rise, and let's say we redo the power rankings after the new year, it's Virtus.
Duško effect.
It's Virtus Bologna. Duško Ivanovic loves experienced players, and Virtus has a lot of experience. They have good veterans. They should be winning more games. They dropped some games in a painful manner. they could have at least 5 or 6 wins right now if some of those close endings went their way. So now they won in Baskonia. They basically stole the win with that Clyburn 3-1 play. And out of this group, this whole group, let's say from ASVEL to Alba, from 15th to 18th, I expect Virtus Bologna to be the team that could at least improve and go up and maybe join the play-in race at least a little bit. I don't expect him to end up in the 9th or 10th, but it could at least get there because, well, Duško, he's a proven coach. In the short term, in 2 months, he can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, you're right. I mean, somehow they won that game yesterday. The first for him, he was coaching in the Italian league against Milano, so I guess that's why Milano lost, even though they were playing at a superb level recently. But hey, first game, Duško couldn't be registered because it was just too quick last week in the EuroLeague. He's 2-0. It's really a thing. Duško magic is really a thing, and we are seeing that for
who they're playing now?
5th or 6th
they're
time.
playing Olympiacos
they have
away.
some tough games.
Olympiacos away.
Some tough games. Olympiacos away and Barca at home.
Barca at
They
home is
probably-
doable.
It's doable. 1-1 next week in a double week.
Why not?
That's solid.
Wow, Alba could have actually climbed out of the bottom if they didn't fumble the end there, and if Virtus didn't miraculously save that game. But
Alba
not that
Berlin. I mean, Zalgiris fans are so confident right now about their team after beating Real Madrid, but in the last few years show that you cannot sleep on Alba Berlin if you're Zalgiris. They must be 100% ready for the battle.
Or if you're Milano as well, I think.
Yeah.
Those
You remember last year Zalgiris dropped
Of course I do.
2 games against Alba and ASVEL, and they're playing these 2 teams next week and
double week.
Like Zalgiris has a chance to finish the first round with 11 wins, and it would be an insanely good result. But
Wild prediction,
no, don't.
they will lose one of those games.
They're going to lose one of those games?
One of these 2.
Which one?
I'm not going to pick which one they're playing away.
Alba.
On Tuesday. Some teams have already lost there this season.
Trinchieri has lost in the German league playoffs to Alba Berlin.
Yeah. He doesn't have a good record.
So what you're trying to say?
I'm just saying that
Last
Alba
season-
Berlin has this aura around them that affects just certain teams and certain people.
Oh, okay.
And they obviously have an agenda against Italian coaches because Messina suffers from Alba Berlin and Trinchieri is about to suffer.
And Procida and Spagnola.
And Banchi resigned after losing to Alba Berlin. So Italian coaches have a nemesis in this league, and it's Alba Berlin.
I will use Trinchieri's response. Last season is last season. You don't need to look at that. I hope so. I hope that Zalgiris can.
I think they'll lose one game.
Oh my God.
And it's going to be ugly. It's going to be like 64-63.
It's not the same Zalgiris anymore.
It's going to happen, man.
64-63
Yeah.
for Alba. If this is true, if all of this is true, I'm not even going to be mad at you and at the loss.
Cool.
I think we should end on this note.
18 teams we talked about. Not very often we do that, but we'll keep doing it every month, and we'll come back with the January Power Rankings at some point. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like the one we're putting out with Bayern next week.